He died in his sleep from doing this. I beg you, don't do it. It causes heart attacks and strokes. This is not a fictional horror story meant to scare you, but a harsh medical reality that is happening every single night. Do you know that every year, hundreds of thousands of adults over the age of 50 suffer heart attacks and strokes in their sleep? According to data from the American Heart Association, nearly half of fatal cardiovascular events in older adults occur between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. For people over 50, the bedroom, a place that should be a fortress of rest and recovery, can unintentionally become the most dangerous place of the day if you do not truly understand your body. I am Dr. Charles Bennett. After decades of research in cardiovascular health, I have witnessed a painful truth. Most of these tragedies are not caused by rare diseases or genetics alone. They are caused by common nighttime habits that people believe are harmless or even healthy. In the next few minutes, I will reveal 5 nighttime habits that are silently turning your sleep into a physiological minefield for your heart and brain. More importantly, I will guide you through a step-by-step health protection routine that you can start tonight. What you are about to hear is not just information. It may be a lifeline that protects your life and the people you love. Welcome to Health Revival. Habit 1: Late and heavy dinners. The hidden enemy of your heart. Many of us have the habit of rewarding ourselves with a large, satisfying dinner after a long and exhausting day. We often tell ourselves, it's just dinner. How dangerous could it be? However, for people over the age of 50, the time you eat and what you put into your stomach at night can determine whether your heart gets to rest or is forced into a risky overnight battle for survival. Normally, when you fall asleep, your body activates its energy-saving and recovery mode. Your blood pressure naturally drops by about 10 to 20%, a phenomenon known as blood pressure dipping. Your heart rate slows down, and your nervous system shifts into cellular repair mode. However, when you eat a large meal after 8 or 9 p.m., you force your body to do the exact opposite. You make your heart work overtime at the very time it needs rest the most. Let's look at what actually happens inside your body. Right after a heavy meal, your digestive system demands a large amount of blood to process the food. To meet this demand, your heart must pump harder and faster. Instead of slowing down to rest, your blood pressure remains high or may even spike. In medicine, this condition is called non-dipping, one of the major warning signs of nighttime cardiovascular events. When blood pressure does not drop during sleep, your blood vessels are exposed to constant pressure for 7 to 8 hours, increasing the risk of plaque rupture and dangerous cardiovascular events. In addition, late-night digestion causes a spike in triglycerides in the bloodstream. When triglyceride levels rise at night, they can trigger arterial inflammation and make the blood thicker and more prone to clot formation. A large study published in the European Heart Journal, which followed more than 100,000 adults over several years, found a concerning result. People who regularly ate dinner after 9 p.m. had a 28% higher risk of stroke and heart attack compared to those who ate before 8 p.m. Another hidden danger is acid reflux, GERD, caused by eating too much and lying down shortly afterward. Stomach acid reflux not only causes burning discomfort, but it can also stimulate the vagus nerve, the nerve that connects the brain, stomach, and heart. When overstimulated by acid reflux, it can trigger serious heart rhythm disturbances and in some cases even lead to sudden cardiac arrest in people with underlying conditions. I still remember a 68-year-old patient of mine who had the habit of eating protein and fat-rich late-night dinners for decades. One night, she was admitted to the hospital with an acute heart attack. After she recovered, she was shocked to learn that the delicious dinner she had that evening was the final straw for her already exhausted heart. Expert advice: to protect your heart, follow this principle. Eat like a king in the morning and like a beggar in the evening. Try to finish dinner at least 3 hours before bedtime. Choose easy-to-digest foods such as lean protein, fish, chicken breast, vegetables, and complex carbohydrates. Most importantly, limit salt and saturated fat in your last meal of the day. This small change alone can give your heart a chance to recover and renew itself every night. Habit 2: forgetting or taking medication at the wrong time. A deadly gap in your protective shield if you are living with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or are taking blood thinners. I have an important question for you. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll take it tomorrow," when you felt too sleepy, or accidentally took your medication a few hours later than prescribed? For many people, taking medication feels like an annoying routine. But in the world of cardiovascular medicine, especially after the age of 50, consistency and timing is not just a good habit. It is the thin line between life and death. The biggest mistake patients make is believing that medication works simply because it is taken. In reality, our bodies operate on a very precise biological clock, and medications must be synchronized with that internal clock to work effectively. Let's talk about blood pressure. In healthy individuals, blood pressure naturally drops during sleep so the cardiovascular system can rest. However, in many people over 50, this self-regulating mechanism no longer works properly. Instead of dropping, their blood pressure remains high, or even rises during the night. This condition is known as nocturnal hypertension. It is one of the most dangerous silent killers because you have no idea it is happening while you are asleep. You don't feel headaches or dizziness, but inside your arteries, blood pressure is continuously pounding against vessel walls that have already become fragile over time. Major studies published in the prestigious medical journal The Lancet have shown that taking blood pressure medication at the correct time, often in the evening as prescribed by a doctor after, can reduce the risk of nighttime heart attacks and strokes by up to 50%. When you miss an evening dose or take it at the wrong time, causing medication levels in your blood to drop around 3 or 4 a.m., you are leaving a deadly gap in your protection. During these early morning hours, the body releases stress hormones to prepare you to wake up, making the blood thicker and causing blood vessels to constrict. Without the protective effect of medication, this is when arterial plaques are most likely to rupture. Once a plaque ruptures, the body immediately forms a blood clot to repair the damage. This clot can grow and block blood flow to the heart, causing a heart attack, or travel to the brain and cause a major stroke. I once treated a 62-year-old patient who was very active but careless about taking his medication. He often took his blood pressure medication 3 to 5 hours late, depending on when he went to sleep. One night, a stroke struck. He survived, but the price he paid was permanent paralysis on one side of his body. Just a few hours of inconsistency changed the rest of his life forever. So I want you to understand this clearly. The timing of your medication is part of the dose. Never underestimate the danger of taking it late or missing even a single dose. Use a weekly pill organizer, set alarms on your phone, or ask a family member to remind you. Most importantly, talk to your doctor about chronotherapy, adjusting medication timing to provide maximum protection during the hours when your body is most vulnerable. Tonight, before you close your eyes, make sure you have put on the full armor to protect your heart. Habit 3. Sleep apnea. The death snore. People ignore. There is an ironic truth in the bedrooms of millions of families. Loud snoring is often considered a sign of deep sleep, or sometimes just something people joke about at breakfast. But from a medical perspective, especially for people over 50, snoring is not just an annoying sound. It is often a desperate cry for help from a body that is being choked from the inside. We are talking about obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, one of the most dangerous and most underdiagnosed silent killers today. Imagine you are asleep, and every few minutes, an invisible hand squeezes your throat, preventing air from entering your lungs. This can last 10 seconds, 20 seconds, sometimes even a full minute. During that time, your blood oxygen level drops dramatically. Your brain, panicking from the lack of oxygen, sends out an emergency signal. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, flooding your body with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol to force you to wake up just enough to reopen your airway. The consequences of this process on your cardiovascular system are devastating. Every time you stop breathing, your heart rate slows down abnormally. But the moment you gasp for air or snort and start breathing again, your blood pressure spikes dramatically to compensate for the oxygen shortage. Imagine your heart like an engine being forced to accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, hundreds of times every night. These extreme fluctuations in blood pressure and heart rate cause tiny tears in the blood vessel walls, leading to atherosclerosis and dangerous heart rhythm disorders, such as atrial fibrillation. Statistics from leading medical universities around the world reveal a chilling reality. People with untreated sleep apnea have 3 times the risk of nighttime heart attacks and 4 times the risk of stroke compared to people without the condition. What makes this even more dangerous is that most people do not remember these near-death moments the next morning. They only wake up feeling tired, with headaches, or extremely sleepy during the day without understanding why. I once treated a 65-year-old female patient who believed her snoring was just a harmless part of aging. One night, her oxygen level dropped to a critically low level, her heart rhythm became chaotic, and she was rushed to the emergency room in a life-threatening condition. After she started using a CPAP breathing machine, not only did she sleep better, but it likely saved her from a future stroke. So how do you know if you are in danger? Watch for these warning signs: loud and persistent snoring, waking up gasping for air, severe morning headaches, blood pressure that is difficult to control even with medication, and extreme daytime fatigue. What is the solution? The first and simplest step is to start sleeping on your side. When you sleep on your back, gravity pulls your tongue and soft throat tissues downward, making airway blockage more likely. However, side sleeping is only a supportive measure. If you have these symptoms, ask your doctor about a sleep study. Never ignore your snoring or your partner's snoring. It may be the last warning your heart sends before it becomes completely exhausted. Habit 4. Going to bed dehydrated, draining the lifeblood of your circulatory system. Now we come to the fourth habit, something many older adults do intentionally because they believe it helps them sleep better. That habit is completely avoiding drinking water in the evening. The reason sounds very practical. I don't want to wake up multiple times at night to use the bathroom. On the surface, this seems convenient, but from a medical perspective, it is a very dangerous mistake that can lead to serious consequences for your circulatory system. There are 2 biological facts you need to understand after the age of 50. First, the brain's thirst mechanism becomes weaker. You may already be significantly dehydrated without feeling thirsty at all. Second, even while you sleep, your body continuously loses water through breathing and skin evaporation. If you go to bed dehydrated, you are putting your vascular system in a very dangerous situation. Let's look at what actually happens inside your blood vessels. Water makes up a large portion of blood volume. When the body is dehydrated, plasma volume decreases, making the blood thicker and more viscous. Imagine that your blood is no longer like a clear, flowing stream, but more like thick mud or syrup trying to move through narrow pipes. The thicker the blood, the slower it flows. And in medicine, there is a simple rule. The slower the blood flow, the higher the risk of blood clots. The danger becomes even greater when combined with nighttime physiology. As mentioned earlier, when you sleep deeply, your heart rate slows down and your blood pressure drops. This is a natural resting state. But if your blood is already thick due to dehydration, the lower blood pressure may not be strong enough to push that thick blood through small vessels, especially the tiny vessels in the brain and heart. This creates the perfect condition for an ischemic stroke or a heart attack in the early morning hours, when blood is thickest and blood pressure is lowest. An important study published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Disease found a shocking result. Even moderate dehydration can increase the risk of a nighttime cardiovascular events by up to 60%. I once treated a 70-year-old patient who was very proud that he never had to wake up at night to use the bathroom, because he refused to drink any water after dinner. However, one early morning, he was rushed to the hospital with a stroke. Imaging results showed a large blood clot blocking an artery in his brain. Doctors found that his blood was abnormally concentrated. That proud habit indirectly caused his tragedy. So, what is the safe solution? I'm not telling you to drink a large amount of water right before bed. Instead, follow a smarter strategy. Drink a glass of warm water about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Use the bathroom right before going to sleep to empty your bladder, and keep a small glass of water next to your bed, in case you wake up at night with a dry mouth. Remember, a short walk to the bathroom in the middle of the night may be inconvenient, but it is a very small price to pay for thinner blood, better circulation, and a safer heart and brain. Do not let your heart and brain run dry for 8 hours every night. Habit 5. Wrong bedroom temperature. A silent trigger for cardiovascular events. We often choose our bedroom temperature based on comfort or to save electricity, but for people over the age of 50, temperature is not just about comfort, it is a critical physiological regulator. This final habit is one of the most overlooked, yet it has the potential to trigger a heart attack or stroke within just a few hours. That habit is sleeping in a room that is too hot or too cold. The human body has a very sophisticated temperature regulation system. When you sleep, your core body temperature naturally drops to conserve energy and support cellular repair. However, if the surrounding environment does not support this process, your heart will be the first organ to pay the price. Let's talk about the danger of a room that is too hot. When the room temperature rises above 24 to 25 degrees Celsius, 75 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, your body struggles to release excess heat to maintain balance. To do this, the blood vessels under your skin must expand, vasodilation. As a result, your heart rate increases significantly to push blood toward the skin surface. At the same time, you begin to sweat, leading to dehydration, which we discussed in the previous habit. The combination of a faster heart rate, dehydration, and thicker blood creates a dangerous scenario that places enormous stress on the cardiovascular system. A study from Harvard University showed that sleeping in an environment that is too hot significantly increases the risk of nighttime cardiovascular events, especially in people with existing heart disease. On the other hand, a room that is too cold can be just as dangerous, or even more dangerous for older adults. When you are exposed to cold air for long periods during sleep, the body responds by constricting peripheral blood vessels, vasoconstriction, to preserve heat for vital organs. This constriction increases resistance in the blood vessels, forcing the heart to pump against much higher pressure. For people over 50 whose arteries have already become stiffer and less elastic, this sudden increase in pressure can act as a trigger that causes arterial plaques to rupture or even leads to a brain hemorrhage. Medical data from Europe has shown a clear increase in heart attacks during nights when temperatures drop suddenly, especially in the early morning hours when temperatures are lowest. So what is the safe temperature range for your heart? Sleep experts and cardiologists agree that the ideal bedroom temperature is between 18 and 24 degrees Celsius, 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Within this range, your body achieves optimal thermal balance. Heart rate remains stable, blood pressure is naturally regulated, and sleep becomes deeper, allowing the body to fully recover. I want you to understand that controlling your bedroom temperature is not about comfort or luxury. It is a form of proactive heart protection. Use a thermometer in your bedroom to monitor the temperature regularly. If it is too hot, use a fan or air conditioner to improve airflow. If it is too cold, make sure you have enough blankets while still allowing fresh air to circulate. Your bedroom temperature is like a protective layer surrounding your circulatory system throughout the night. Do not let a small mistake in adjusting your air conditioner or choosing the wrong blanket become the reason you do not wake up tomorrow morning. A cool, stable room is one of the best safety promises you can give your heart before you fall asleep. The truth can sometimes be frightening, but my goal at Health Revival is not to scare you. It is to give you the knowledge you need to protect your own health. After the age of 50, the cost of ignorance can be extremely high, but the cost of change is very small. Sometimes, change begins with just one small habit, one small decision before going to bed each night. But over time, those small decisions can change your health and your life. Tonight, you have the opportunity to choose a different path, a safer, healthier, and more peaceful one. Start tonight by applying the simple steps we discussed. Your heart has been working nonstop for decades, without ever taking a single day off. Maybe it is time we treat it a little better, so that sleep is not just rest, but true healing for your body. If you find this information helpful, continue your journey with Health Revival, because taking care of your health is not a one-day task, it is a lifelong journey. I hope these videos help you live healthier, sleep better, and feel more secure about your health in the years ahead. I will see you again in the next Health Revival journey.